Hello everybody, I'm back with a new video. Today marks 3 years of no contact with my dad, and I've really come a long way in these past 3 years and have accomplished things that I wouldn't have accomplished had my dad still been in the picture. The past month has been a bit crazy since I've come back here from college, starting with the very night that I came here. A man and a woman were arguing back and forth. I heard, "You're the worst boyfriend ever." It was getting chaotic downstairs. I should have called the cops, but I didn't. And that leads to today. Well, yesterday. Yesterday, the cops came to my door. Well, they went to all the doors in the apartment building in which I live in, asking questions if we heard anything. And this is just nothing but chaos. My mom refuses to move out of this neighborhood, which I don't know why, but toxic likes to stay in toxic, which I will elaborate in this video. But yesterday, the cops came to the door, started asking me questions about if I heard anything or not. There were 4 or 5 cop cars just lined up, and I'll be honest, I was pretty scared. Honestly, scared shitless. But they got my name so that they have record that they spoke to me and all these other people that were in the building at the time of the incident, and they're still investigating. So it's very frustrating being back home and having to deal with all that stuff, because I've been working online and some days working like 10 hours a day, in addition to taking some summer classes to try to make sure I graduate on time. So it's very, very frustrating to have to deal with all that crap. And it's also frustrating to live with my mom because she's extremely controlling. She tells me how to do things that I learned how to do when I was 10, 9, 8, telling me things that I already know when I'm driving in the car, telling me that there's a stop sign ahead, that the light's turning yellow. She takes the autonomy out of everything. Everything I do, she tries to take the autonomy out of it, and it's very frustrating. I play hockey. I drive myself to hockey games. That's gone really well. 3 games, 4 goals. That's going really well. I'm just aiming to keep it up. But what I really want to get into today is the fact that once you go no contact, you will start to see a path to more freedom, more autonomy. Don't get me wrong, there are going to be other narcissistic types of people, controlling, manipulative types of people that will try to take away that autonomy and that freedom that you're starting to get and realize that you can get. Don't get me wrong, but as you go through the no contact journey, you will realize that you have so much more freedoms and so many resources you can reach out to get help, to improve, to grow as a person. Now, I'm not where I want to be right now, but I've put myself in a position where I have some money on me to go live somewhere else. If I can get a roommate, maybe the rent's maybe $500. I can make sure I can definitely afford that now. So the steps are finding the right roommate so I can move out and live somewhere else, so I don't have to deal with my mom. But other things I have to worry about it though is getting a car, my own car. So I don't have to worry about my mom backseat driving. So backseat driving is when the passenger is giving unsolicited directions to the driver, and distracting the driver, telling the driver how to drive, talking to the driver as if the driver is driving for the very first time. And that is very distracting. A lot of accidents are caused by the act of backseat driving. My mom just will not stop. Some of the advice that she has given me behind the wheel, in the middle of me driving, would have caused an accident should I have taken that advice. Some of the advice she would give is literally as I'm proceeding through an intersection. That's when I don't need to be distracted. Accidents can happen if you are in an intersection. Another thing that really frustrates me is living in this neighborhood. With all the incidents that have happened, I couldn't even walk to this gym this past Thursday without an incident. I was just walking through the path from my apartment building to this gym, and there was a woman on her phone not paying attention. And I said, "Excuse me," 3 times because she was blocking most of the pathway. And I didn't want to just walk right past her and scare the hell out of her. But after saying "excuse me" 3 times, and she obviously didn't hear me, I said it loud enough, but phones are that addicting. After those 3 attempts, I just walked right past her and she started screaming. So screaming at me for no legitimate reason. So I'm done living in this neighborhood. I'm really done. I've made money online, and that's been going well for me. The fact that there's no table in my mom's apartment is extremely frustrating, because I need a table in which I can sit down, have some leg room, and be able to do whatever I have to do. And I'm dealing with a mom. I bring stuff into the apartment that's not needed, and she refuses to get rid of anything she doesn't even use. So there's no space for even a table. So that's very frustrating. So I find myself trying to search around here for a place in which I can work. And luckily, there's a computer room just behind me in which I can work, so I don't have to walk all the way to the library. It's very frustrating. So he's refusing to get rid of things that she doesn't need. It's difficult to live with her. Living on campus was so much better because I didn't need to bring that many stuff. I didn't need to bring as many stuff. I didn't need to bring anything, really. Just fridge, microwave, just basic toiletries, bed sheets, pillow, lamp, and I'm sure I'm leaving stuff out. Of course, my clothes, but I didn't need to bring that many stuff. I don't need to bring too many things. There's no need. So when you start having an emotional attachment with stuff that you're just buying impulsively, that's a sign. I honestly suspect that both my mom and dad potentially are narcissists. And you see that kind of behavior where they will just impulsively buy things. But at the same token, they'll criticize every purchase decision you make and accuse you of wasting your money, even though you've been very smart with your money, which is the case with me, because I should have now enough money to at least afford rent somewhere else, or at least half of the rent, so I can live with a roommate and split that. So I think I'm in good position and doing well for myself. But another thing I really want to get into today is the fact that emotional manipulators, they tend to want to stay in neighborhoods or environments that are very negative and very toxic. And when all their neighbors are moving out and going places, they seem to want to stick around to the very environment that's toxic. And they don't seem to understand that energy is positive, negative. In the past 3 years, even living at the old apartment in which I used to live in, which is literally right in that direction, cops would come to the door, knocking on the door, because people downstairs, man and woman, arguing. I'm hearing things crashing. I'm hearing a man yelling at a woman, possibly beating her, being abusive, and then trying to cover it up. Sound familiar? So with all that going on, my mom decides to try to defend the man and instruct me not to call the cops, not to talk to the leasing office about it. And same situation just a couple weeks ago, with the man yelling at the woman, telling me not to go to the office because you're going to make a fool out of yourself. It's like, why are you trying to defend the perpetrator, which is the man? You see what I'm saying? You're hearing him yelling at her and she's trying to defend herself. I'm hearing everything going on. And why are you trying to defend the man? Same situation with my dad. And this is why it was so important for me to go no contact with my dad. My dad would be just verbally just destroying me. I'm just sitting there speechless. He's just yelling and yelling and yelling, going off, going off, going off. And the second I try to say something, my mom is yelling at me to stop, as if I'm the one going on and on and on. So I just don't understand how certain people are programmed. Enablers or narcs themselves are literally programmed to see the victim of a situation as the perpetrator and the perpetrator as the victim. They see negative situations as positive and positive situations as negative. There seems to be the switch. My mom preaches to me every day that I had such an opportunity with my dad. If he had stayed in my life would be so much better. If he had stayed in my life, I'd be able to get to hockey games easier. Don't understand that logic. I do not understand that logic. Because I can easily drive myself to a hockey game. If she lets me use her car, I just easily drive and go there. Why does somebody else, especially someone that treats me like shit, right? Why should somebody else, right, have to do something for me that I can easily do for myself? It's like they have to have this control. Anything that you can easily do for yourself, somebody abusive has to do it for you. It's like they're so bloody afraid that if you get that little bit of independence, you're gone. They're so afraid of being left alone that they have to control everything around them. And this is why eventually I'm going to go no contact with my mom, which is great, because I can continue to work online, succeed, not have every choice and decision I make critiqued, and I think my overall quality of life should improve. But as you go no contact, you're going to see more opportunities to be independent. You're going to realize those opportunities. And your quality of life should improve.